Hi, my name's Kira, and I host a podcast with a lying liar who says she's bad at magic. What do you have to say for yourself?
Hi. I'm a one-mana tutor that kills you 10% of the time. Meia.
I'm so proud of you! I am so proud of you.
Thank
You may be a lying liar, but I'm so unbelievably proud of you. For those of you who are unaware or were not at CanCon, Meia played in the annual CanCon Highlander tournament where there were 207 players, and she placed top 8.
Woo! We got there!
And for those of you who watched our previous Highlander episode where we talked about going to CanCon and Meia predicted how well she was going to do, Meia said she was going to go 1-6.
I ended up 6-1-1. So I was kind of right.
You were right in the wrong order.
The wrong order. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm so I'm so proud of you.
Turns out judges are not washed. It's great.
What deck? For our wonderful people at home, what deck were you playing?
So I was playing Demir Thoracle, or like Thassa's Oracle combo.
Mm-hmm.
This is a combo deck based around the, at this point, very well-known combo degenerate card Thassa's Oracle, which is blue for a creature that says when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top X cards, where X is your devotion to blue. You may put one on top and put the rest on the bottom, and then if your devotion to blue is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. And you're playing this alongside Tainted Pact, which is the world's weirdest demonic tutor that also mills your library, and Demonic Pact, which is demonic tutor 90% of the time. And the other 10% of the time it kills you, and that's great.
Oh, this sounds like a degenerate combo deck.
Well, funny you should say that. Yeah, this is probably the second most degenerate combo deck in the format. Close behind Storm.
I was say, what's the first Storm?
Yeah, it was, yes, the first most degenerate combo deck, because it is even more all-in than Thoracle, is the Storm deck. The Thoracle deck can sometimes play the worst possible control game plan. I don't recommend it. That's how you lose games, but it's theoretically possible, whereas Storm truly is just an all-in combo deck.
Well, and this is the deck that good old Justin Chung, has been playing for a while.
Yes, and congratulations, our Highlander national champion, Justin Chung, also on Thoracle.
Back to back.
Runner, right?
Shows up to plenty of games, Highlander, January singletons, sweeps on the deck, goes to CanCon and says, let's just run it back really quickly.
Let's just do it again. And Juzz wins. I steal his deck list, so I'm like, ha 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 ha. And then he changes it on me. So rude. Adds green. I don't own a tropical island.
But you do now own an underground sea.
I do own an underground sea.
So now one of us can play 7 point.
I guess so. But yeah, so last time we talked about me going to CanCon, I was on 8-point Thoracle because I did not own an underground sea and I thought mental misstep was pretty important. I ended up on 7-point because I think the life loss is too important. Your 8th point being underground sea does make sense, unfortunately, but thus is life.
So how did you feel going in at the start? Because I mean, based on our conversations, you seemed a bit apprehensive. You hadn't played a tournament of the scale in a while, and I think you were a bit just excited to go practice, is what it felt like, and instead you just practiced all over everybody.
Yeah, so going in, the nature of a combo deck like this is its matchups are very polarizing. So you will have matchups that you are like 90% to win, and you'll have matchups that you are 10% to win. That's just kind of how these sort of like very linear, uninteractive combo decks works. And it's a little bit less true for Thassa's Oracle because Thassa's Oracle as a combo is so hard to interact with. But I was expecting to get a couple of wins because some amount of the time I will play against a like dorky creature deck that's trying to kill me on turn 6, and I will just kill them on turn 3 and it'll be fine. So I thought there was a reasonable chance I would end up 2-5, maybe 3-4 if I was, if I got a bit lucky, got a couple of the good matchups. And yeah, that isn't exactly how it played out.
You don't say.
Round one, I was fortunate enough to be on coverage.
Oh.
Yes, playing against the wonderful Volty.
Oh, I would be so intimidated. I'd be sitting there going, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, a little bit. So a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Volty coaches me
Yes.
in Magic, and specifically in Highlander. So we had had conversations over the course of a couple of weeks, and I knew what Volty was playing, and I knew that the matchup was close to unwinnable for her. So Volty, true hero of the people, was on 5-color allies.
Yeah, okay.
Which, can I say, deck very, very good. Probably pretty well placed in a broader Highlander metagame. Really, really bad against Thoracle. Because Volty's deck goes bigger than most of the other creature decks and is more synergistic, but the trade-off for that is that it is usually a turn slower. And you really can't afford to be slow against the Thoracle deck, because if you're not interacting actively, which creature-based aggressive deck often isn't, then Thassa's Oracle is just going to kill you quicker than you can kill it.
Yeah.
So we got there game 1 against Volty, team kill, very sad. And then match 2, I run into another good matchup, which is nice, which was a mono-red aggressive deck.
Sure.
It was, Goblin Guide, Fire Blast, Lightning Bolt you to the face. And the matchup was actually very close. We end up 1-1. We're playing a third game, and I think I top deck the Demonic Consultation, which I need to be able to Pact of Negation the last burn spell so I don't die in response to my combo going off. And there's I think my opponent makes chooses a line where they can either punish me on mana by playing a Magus of the Moon or hold up 2 burn spells, and they choose to hold up 2 burn spells instead of play a Magus of the Moon. And as it turns out, because of the way the top deck's lined up, if they had a Magus of the Moon in play, they would have killed me. But as is the motto of the testing team and club I am on, better lucky than good.
That's how I'm playing Magic.
And yeah, Thassa's Oracle as a deck is a deck that's very much designed to maximize that motto. Yeah. So that was rounds 1 and 2. Round 3, what did I play against? I believe it was Grixis.
Okay.
So this is
Terror of the format.
Yeah, but Bus Stop Grixis, which is a really, really bad matchup.
For you?
Yes.
Ah.
The reason being that the Grixis matchup is, well, it's not really, really bad, but it's quite bad. I think you're about 40% to win on the version that I'm playing. And we'll talk about the variants to Juzz's list in a little bit, because I think Juzz's list is much better into Grixis.
Okay.
But my list is still pretty bad. And I get very, very lucky, as I am continuing to do, and my opponent mulligans to 5 2 games in a row.
Tough.
Not great for them, unfortunately. No. But we take those. I like beating Grixis because I don't want to have to play against it ever.
You and everyone else.
Yeah, literally. Round 4, I end up against actual factual Jund.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thoughtseize, Baraglyph, Deadpool, Jund.
Nice.
And these matchups are really... This matchup is good for Thoracle, but the way the games actually played out, they were very close. My opponent was playing a version of Jund that was a little bit better into combo, because they were playing all the Thoughtseize effects they could, including Dreadfugue, which a lot of the Jund lists aren't, and they were playing the Lance package. So they're playing the Wasteland, Strip Mine, Ren and 6. And one of the things that the Thoracle deck, at least my version of the Thoracle deck, is weak to is recursive land destruction. The reason being that the Thoracle deck is actually, for the most part, trying to play a mostly fair game of Magic for the first 3 or 4 turns, right? What it really wants to do is hit all its land drops, cast 4 cantrips, then maybe a tutor, and then kill you. But that process is really intensive, really mana intensive, right? Because you need a blue pip on turn 1, you need a blue-black pip on turn 2, and you need double black on turn 3 so you can transmute for your Thassa's Oracle. Which means you need every last pip. And because the combo is blue, blue, black. So having land interaction is actually like one of the ways you can beat Thassa's Oracle pretty handily. So weirdly, in testing one of the matches that I discovered was actually one of the worst matchups for my version of Thoracle were the lands decks, because they were able to strip mine and wasteland reasonably consistently, reasonably repeatedly, and then kill you with a Marit Lage a couple of turns later before you have had the chance to recover properly. And this Jund deck was doing that. And I think game one, I get them because I end up with like 2 lands in play, and I am able to unearth my Thassa's Oracle, which has been Thoughtseized away, and Demonic Consultation, which was very fortunate. Game 2, I lose to... I don't actually even lose to Striplock. I lose to Thoughtseize, Inquisition of Kozilek, Baragoyf. Because, sometimes they just kill you real quick, and that's pretty scary. And game 3, we end up in a very, very, like, close matchup. I've started to see the strip mine package a little bit, so I've kept a hand with Lotus Petal Chrome Mox as, like, 2 of my 3 total mana sources in the hand, and the game grinds really long, and I think I find the Tainted Pact on the last turn I could, because I was dying to Renin 6 tick downs targeting my face.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It was a real grind fest, but the match was really cool.
That's so interesting. Huh. I love Jund.
Jund is sick. Jund is like a very, very powerful deck. And if you are playing, it's an incredibly punishing deck from a deck building perspective, because if you're not playing the exact right 75, you lose a lot of percentage points pretty quickly. But if you are a good Jund player and you have a good read on the metagame, you can absolutely sweep on Jund. It's incredibly powerful.
So you mentioned that your deck is slightly different from Juzz's.
Yes.
What exactly are those differences, and how do you think they impacted your play? Like, you already mentioned that Juzz's switched into like more Sultai colors and plays green. Is that for kind of like choke carpet effects, or?
Kind of. Juzz's deck added... So, okay, for context, my deck was Juzz's deck from the Winter Diamond with a couple of small changes. There were some like sideboard considerations. I was playing a Giga Drowse because that card's really cool. But there were some minor changes, but for the most part it was this like very linear turbo Thoracle deck. Okay. Juzza chose instead, I think, clearly making the correct decision, to play Sultai and to play a bigger version of Thassa's Oracle. So, for instance, his Thassa's Oracle had Quantum Riddler and Brain Surge in the main board.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So it was going down on the, like, mediocre tutors. So going down the, like, most of the transmute tutors, and instead aiming for a little bit more card advantage and aiming for a little bit more equity against combo, because out of the sideboard, Juzza got Veil of Summer and Carpet of Flowers.
Yeah, those are good.
Both cards that are exceptionally good into these blue-based combo decks. So not only are those cards good into Storm, but they're also good into the Mirror. So yeah, Juzza's deck a little bit bigger, a little bit more controlling, and ultimately definitely the right choice for the metagame that we saw. We'll get a little bit to what the high tables looked like at CanCon, but I was not expecting the high tables to look quite as combo and Grixis heavy as they did.
Because I was going to say, is one of the considerations for Juzza switching things up a little bit that people know that's what he's playing, he's put up good results, he's winning events. Do you think that was kind of a reaction to, if people are going to net deck my deck, I need to be able to beat my deck now?
I expect it is more that one of one of the ways you lose against some of the best decks in the format, so specifically Grixis and Storm, is by not having protection for your own combo.
Okay.
Right. Because a lot of the way those games play out is you Thoughtseize their combo piece, they Thoughtseize your combo piece, but your combo piece is very specific. You need very specific pieces in order to go off, and their combo piece is critical mass. So on average, if you're just draw passing, they're probably going to win because they just need a number of cards, not specific cards.
Yeah.
Whereas you need very specific cards. And if they're taking your specific cards, you're going to lose out in the matchup. And also, Storm decks are usually a turn faster than you. Because Storm decks can kill you if uninterrupted on turn 2 enough of the time that it's scary.
Yeah.
And Juzz's deck, the changes that he made are better into Grixis because you have more card advantage. You have more ways to pressure them in a way that they're not prepared for. Because how does Grixis beat Quantum Riddler post board?
Just you red blast it.
Yeah, basically.
Pyroblast,
At which
Red
point you've
Blast.
already drawn 2 to 4 cards off your Quantum Riddler.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah.
And if they're pyroblasting your Quantum Riddler, they're not pyroblasting your Thassa's Oracle.
Oh, yep.
So yeah, I think he just made the right choice, to be honest. And I think it was a tech against the fact that there are going to be a lot of bus stop people in the room, and Grixis is going to be a force, and that a lot of the best players are playing Storm.
Percentage of people playing on bus stops specifically playing Grixis?
I don't know precisely. It was high. Every bus stop player I played against was on Grixis.
Yeah.
Except for Judas,
Yeah, except for Judas.
who was on Storm because
Because he won a Lotus.
because win a Lotus, play a Lotus, right?
Yeah, why would you... Unless you're JD and you own a Time Walk but you don't play it, why would you win a Black Lotus and then not play Storm?
Exactly, especially when Storm is one of the best decks in the format.
100%. So then what were your top tables like? It sounds like you came into contact with Grixis a lot.
I did. So I'll very quickly gloss over round 5, which was against a very cool Zirda combo deck.
Oh.
If you're a Highlander enjoyer like me, go look at that deck. It's interesting. I think it's on the up and up. Zirda's very powerful. Artifacts are very powerful. It was great. I think I got quite unlucky. I was able to Thoughtseize all my opponent's my opponent spat a bunch of mana on the board both games. I Thoughtseized the thing that they were going to use to kill me, and then they top decked a Khan and I died.
Right.
And these things happen. My opponent also played very well. And then round 6, I played against Grixis.
Yep.
And this was a weird match, but I got there by first getting very unlucky with a Limdol's Vault and then getting very lucky with a Tainted Pact. I was in a situation where in game 3, my opponent had Thoughtseized my Thassa's Oracle, but I could cast a Limdol's Vault to see all but the bottom 3 cards of my deck. And I needed to find Unearth. And I did. I looked at all but the bottom 3 cards of my deck and didn't find the Unearth.
Oh, that's so brutal because then it's one of those last 3.
It was really unfortunate. So, and the
Ooh.
way Limdol's Vault works is you don't, those cards get shuffled back into your library and then the top 5 go back on top. So I ended up having to shuffle it and, I put a land on top so that I could cast a Drown in the Lock. So I could cast a Drown in the Lock for a removal spell on my Thassa's Oracle, because what I have to do there is untap, draw, play a land, cast Tainted Pact, and hope Unearth is in the bottom 3 cards of my library.
Oh, this deck just sounds insane.
It was kind of deranged. I got there.
It remained in the bottom 3.
Yeah, I got very unlucky with my Limdol's Vault and then very lucky on a Tainted Pact, which got me there in match 3. In round 7, I played against Grixis.
I'm noticing a theme. I'm noticing themes and trends.
Themes and trends, indeed. And I got very lucky again. And I think, I got there on a really good top deck. Enough said.
I don't know. I feel like there is a certain amount of skill that's needed to still place in the top 8. As much as luck is involved, I feel like you still have to be good enough to get through the matches where luck is not a factor.
Oh, sure. And like I played well to get to the point where I could get lucky to win the game.
Yeah.
And that is a really significant part of playing this style of combo deck, is you need to know how to maximize your outs even if they are thin. Because maximizing your outs when they are thin will give you the percentage points to perform well a lot of the time. Sometimes you just gotta hope that sometimes it is better to demonic consultation for the unearth that you're hoping is at the bottom of your deck than to pass the turn and die to one of 12 cards.
Yeah.
Right. You just gotta kind of work out where those spots are and get lucky sometimes. And then at this point I'm 6-1, which was pretty insane. I am over the moon. I'm like, this is incredible. Holy moly, what is going on? I am so tired.
That's a long, long day of Magic, because that's at minimum, let's say, because also, I was at the booth vending outside. All of these matches went overtime. Every single round.
Well, the fortunate thing about Thassa's Oracle is that you don't tend to go over time very much.
Well, so good for you. You're getting breaks in between, but still at a minimum, that's 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's say minimum 7 hours, plus you guys did have a lunch break. So you're already, like, touching the 8-hour, 9-hour mark there. That's a long day of Magic.
It is a long day of Magic. And then last but not least, I'm on coverage again for round 8, the final round of the day.
And this was your win-in.
It was kind of interesting because if my opponent and I ID, my opponent has very thin outs to make it, but I'm in a very good position. I need like one of like 4 different people to lose in order to be able to ID into top 8. But because my opponent's outs are very thin, my opponent's like, no, we got to jam. So I end up on coverage. We sit down and we play. My opponent's on Blue Moon. This is a good matchup for me. Right. I'm a very linear combo deck. If my opponent is giving me infinite turns to sculpt my hand, for the most part, because of the hand attack effects that you get to play in a deck like Thassa's Oracle, you are typically favored in this matchup. But I play like a chump. A lot of the skill expression in a Thassa's Oracle deck is finding your spot, right? Is being like, okay, my opponent has tapped out of their 3rd counter spell, and if I top deck the right thing with my demonic consultation in hand, I can beat 2 counter spells depending on which counter spells they are.
Right.
And so game 1, we end up in a bit of a do-si-do where I Jataxian Probe and see like 4 counter spells, and I end up running a bunch of like card advantage spells into like Mana Leaks and Spell Piercers in order to kind of like tempt out the counter spells, because I know that in a counter spell war on the turn that I'm Thassa's Oracling, I can often get there because my counter spells on the turn that I'm killing you are free. They're Flare of Denial, which the cost is sacrifice your Thassa's Oracle, which doesn't matter, and they're Pact of Negation.
Yeah, which doesn't matter if you win.
Exactly, and Force of Will.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing a lot of the free counter spells.
Yeah.
So we end up in this do-si-do, and I end up being able to... I cast a Thought Lash, which reserve list banger Thought Lash. 2 blue for an enchantment. Cumulative upkeep, remove the top card of your library from the game. And it also has, you may exile the top card of your library to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you.
Oh.
So we end up in this big counter war. I cast a Thought Lash, and we like fight over it. My opponent memory lapses it to the top of my deck, and I'm like, okay, untap, slam, Thought Lash. And my opponent's like, okay, it resolves. And I'm like, yes, yes.
This is all a part of my dastardly plan.
Yeah, and then I think I end up top decking Inquisition of Kozilek or something, and I managed to get there with Thought Lash. Game 2, Game 2 is where I play like a chump. I go for a very preemptive combo. I can beat 1 counterspell here, but not 2 counterspells if one of the counterspells is either a consigned memory or a free counterspell, and they have a force of negation, and I just like end up in this really long, drawn out like drawing cards to win the game sort of thing, and I end up losing to a Murktide Regent because Murktide Regent.
Good.
And then in game 3 we go to time, and this is where playing to your like time equity is, well, this is where as a control deck you need to be very aware of the time that you're taking to kill me, because I kind of think if my opponent had just slammed the Murktide Regent the turn that he drew it, I would have lost the match. But because we spent like an extra 10 minutes in game 2 than we needed to, the game ended in a tie, and I made it into top 8 off the tie.
Yeah.
I end up at 7th, and my poor opponent ends up in 9th. Absolutely heartbroken.
Yeah, that's so rough.
But again, that's competitive Magic for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, a very real part of playing Magic is playing Magic in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
And as a judge, I will harp on about this for all time. And this is why I like combo decks, because I don't have to make decisions quickly.
Yeah.
I just have to make 3 decisions well.
Yeah.
And then I end up in top 8, which was great.
My goat. My absolute goat.
It was great. It was great. It was awesome fun. Thassa's Oracle, if you were a degenerate combo deck enjoyer, highly recommend it. It's great fun. It's a very skill testing version of this sort of like linear combo deck, especially with the amount of like mid-range decks and Thoughtseize decks that are in the room. But it's a very rewarding deck to practice, and yeah, I highly recommend.
Show up, take names, go home.
Exactly. And if you show up and you play against nothing but Jund, you will win the event.
Mm-hmm. It's too bad that Grixis is more popular than Jund.
Can't beat Grixis, except 3 times. But yeah, and like I said, if you're interested in playing Thoracle, look at Juzz's list. Juzz's list is really good. I think it's the correct call to be on like Brain Surge, Quantum Riddler. I think the extra card advantage and protection is really powerful. Juzza knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
As much as I top 8'd with this deck, Juzza won with this deck. He's kind of the premier Thoracle pilot of the format at this point. Also, just an incredible player.
Yeah. Incredible guy. Incredible player.
Yeah, have a look at the list. It's very interesting. It's very fun. Don't play Giga Drows. That card is awesome, but it is bad.
So overall, looking back at the event, how do you feel? I'm proud. I'm beaming over here. I'm absolutely smug and just like.
I mean, look, I top 8'd. I feel good. It's definitely gratifying from a. There is an experience a lot of judges have where they go from playing a reasonable amount of competitive Magic to judging, and then because they're not playing a bunch of competitive Magic, they lose a little bit of the edge, and they stop putting up good results. This was very gratifying. I was happy not to be washed. I do feel like I got very lucky, but I also feel like I played well. I was able to punish my opponent's mistakes well, and my opponents made enough mistakes overall, and the deck was unknown enough overall that I think I was in a good position to do pretty well. And I ended up getting knocked out of the top 8 by one of the best players on one of the best decks. So, no complaints here. And I got to play Pauper.
Oh yeah, that's very good for you.
I was so excited to play Pauper.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait for you to show up to the next event and just kick butt again and then disappear for a bit.
Well, the thing is, I'm judging the next event, so how's that going to work?
not the Open Series events, not the Open Series event, but like the next Mana Clash, CanCon style thing. You just kick down the door and you're like, I'm here to play Thoracle again.
I am here to play my linear combo deck.
Here's me in my Underground Sea. This is worth 1 point.
Yeah, kind of. Well, hopefully by then I will also have a tropical island, so I can play Veil of Summer.
She's just gonna get even stronger.
There's no stopping me. There's no stopping me. And with all that said, that is all we have for you today. New episodes release every week on Monday at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You can follow all our releases on Instagram and Blue Sky at kirabobira.jpg and at Meia MTG. and at the Raise MTG socials. A big thank you to the Hen House Recording Studios for the ongoing use of their space. And until next week, remember, I have seen the true path. I will not warm myself by the fire. I will become the flame.